So why did I move from Costa Rica to Panama? I'll start off by saying I love Costa Rica. Costa Rica is amazing. It's an amazing vacation for me. I have a lot of great friends, a lot of genuine people, and there's so much adventure and things to do. So in this video, I'm going to break it down, pros and cons of comparing Panama to Costa Rica for me. This is my own honest opinion. So again, why did I move to Panama from Costa Rica? Well, I tried to stay in Costa Rica. First, infrastructure. Now, infrastructure might not mean a lot if you're coming from Canada or North America, because, you have paved roads and, power grids and things like that. If the power goes out, it's a big deal. Well, the power goes out in Costa Rica and it's not really a big deal because you just go with the flow. In Costa Rica, when you have a storm and it rains, the roads get very, very muddy. And when it rains in Costa Rica, it pours. It's like cats and dogs. You have to remember, Guanacaste is a bunch of surf towns, basically. So having a paved road in Guanacaste is a luxury. So afterwards, it's a muddy, soppy mess. Also, if it rains, it pours, the power goes out. And you might be on a Zoom call and all of a sudden the power goes out and there goes the Zoom call. So it just wasn't super reliable for the infrastructure, because when you come to Panama, you've got paved roads, sidewalks, but be careful, make sure you're looking down when you're walking around. There might be a 4-foot hole that they decided to do a patch job on, and you might end up in the 4-foot hole. So just be careful. But, they do have pavement. When it rains, not everything shuts down. The power doesn't go out all the time. So it's definitely a plus being here. Now off to banking. So it might sound kind of funny when you're in Costa Rica. Tamarindo is where I was living, and you pull out money out of the bank account. In that case, I had a Canadian account. So what I would do is I'd go to one of their major banks, I would pull out money, but then the money doesn't come out. And then you're going back and forth with the Canadian bank, and it happened so many times I basically lost track. Now, coming to Panama, it's like banking capital, best economy in Latin America, banking district. Things are reliable. There's not crazy waits, and especially opening up a company. So if you open up a company in Costa Rica, I know so many business owners, restaurant owners in Tamarindo that would tell me that you can only deposit a certain amount each day. So say if you made 10,000 that night and you're only able to deposit 3, you'd have to go back again and back again and back again. It was just kind of funny rules. Here you deposit as much as you want. Banking's reliable throughout the world. I use my card everywhere. And for me, it was just a lot easier not having to worry about my money. So next I'm going to talk about cars. A luxury in North America that you definitely have, but when you come to Latin America, you have something called import fees. So in Costa Rica, I bought a car, an 86 Toyota Corolla, which is probably $500, $600, $700 in Canada, was 4,000 US in Costa Rica. I'd say 4 times the cost. And this was a luxury to have a car. So, and a lot of the places I went in Costa Rica, I was getting flagged down because it looked like a collectivo. It's like a taxi service that people pick up along the way, and they'll be like waving at you. So I got waved at a lot. Cars here are new, not necessarily broken down, but the taxis are pretty beat up. But the Ubers are amazing. Okay, so how I paid for the car. This goes back into the banking situation. I went to the bank, which you would normally do. You do a wire transfer. People talk about it's going to be $75 to $85 for the wire transfer down to Costa Rica. I go to the bank. I went with a Costa Rican friend. So then that way I didn't get hit with gringo prices. I also had a translator. He was even surprised. The bank wanted to charge me $800 for the transfer, which is astronomical. 2 other banks wouldn't do it. So I was like, well, this is crazy. So what did I do? I started pulling out cash. Now you can only pull out $300 at a time. Imagine the bank fees on 4,000 and how many times you have to pull it out when you're only pulling out 300 at a time. The bank machine would slowly run out of money, because that's what bank machines do. Next thing you know, you'd have to come back the next day and pull out more money. So it was a bit of an ordeal. Here, I just do whatever I need to do. Although in Panama, the most you can take out is $400, I believe, or maybe, no, maybe it's $250 at certain banks, $400 at others. So, that does add up if you're wanting to pay rent in cash. So when it comes to banking, Panama's just reliable, and it just makes it a lot easier not having to worry about my money. Now I'm going to get into housing. We just talked about rent. In Tamarindo, I lived in it's just like a shack. It's actually called Casa Shack. It was $1,100 a month, and literally, it wasn't even a container home. It was just I felt it was gonna blow down if you had a really bad storm. The power went out a lot, because we talked about power, and it just wasn't super reliable. $1,100 US. Now I come here, I actually lived in that big curved building. It's the former Trump building. It's now called the JW Marriott. It had a gym, it was fully concrete, it was beautiful. I paid $1,300 a month rent for that, but the amenities were amazing, and it looked out on the ocean, so it was super quiet. I also did a tour of my $800 apartment in San Francisco that you can see right up here. So power grids, we kind of touched on it. It's very, very reliable. The power very seldomly goes out. The internet goes down sometimes, but that happens everywhere. So the power here is amazing. I'm not ever really worried about a Zoom call or uploading YouTube videos or anything like that. So it's a lot more reliable. So fitness, I love being fit, healthy, everything else. So in Tamarindo, it's a city of 8,000 people. So really, what do you expect? The gyms were, half the machines were broken all the time. You come here, it's a much bigger city. You've got Smart Fit, it's like $30 a month, and it's just like what you would get back home. I much prefer it, not having to worry about things. Plus the gym there was like $60 a month, so it's almost double. So I also travel a lot for work, and I'm always going between Latin America and Canada, so I need proximity to an airport is very important to me. In Tamarindo or Guanacaste, you're looking at you can go to Liberia, but Liberia only flies to, I believe, Canada. It doesn't fly to other kind of Latin American countries, or it was just very, very expensive if I did. In Panama, you could jump in an Uber. It's literally $12, which is the most you'll ever pay. $12 to go directly to the airport. It's an international airport. It's a hub, and you're literally there in 30 minutes. So that was a definite plus when it came to Panama. Okay, so bus transportation. You'd have to hire a driver in Costa Rica. That was up in the gringo prices of, $40, $60, $80, $100 to basically just go to Liberia and back. It definitely added up. Uber here is, like I said, $12 at the airport, and it doesn't really go over $7, which is a fraction of what you'll get in Canada. So now it looks like I'm dumping on Costa Rica, but I'm really not. I'm just being completely honest about everything there is to know about living in each area. I go back to Costa Rica for vacations because I have a lot of friends, people are genuine, they're super nice. There's English speaking, which is good because in the city you don't really have that. In Panama City, you don't have a beach. That's a big negative for me. It's literally 32 degrees. You can see me sweating. It's 85% humidity. It is 9 a.m. It's ridiculous. So you need a beach in Panama City. Maybe just put one right there. Then you don't really want to go in the ocean here either. There's a lot of garbage and things like that. They say that it's the foreigners doing it, but you see somebody driving down the road and throw their McDonald's out of a window, and it's just nobody even second guesses it. It's just they don't have recycling here, which really bothers me. So there's definitely some negatives when it comes to overall Latin America. And I love Costa Rica. So Costa Rica definitely wins for the beaches, the adventures, the experiences. You just feel like you're in a different world. It's a Zen atmosphere, and it is wonderful. So I go back for vacations all the time. So Costa Rica wins for the overall fun of it all. So again, why did I move to Panama from Costa Rica? Well, I tried to stay in Costa Rica. I hired a lawyer, I followed all the due diligence, I went through everything, and I really, really thought I was going to be a resident of Costa Rica. But when the lawyer came back to me after a few weeks and said I wasn't able to open up a bank account because the bank decided to change its rules on foreigners opening up bank accounts, and I would be able to try again in a few months, that just rubbed me the wrong way. And after being in Latin America for 3 years, I've realized they say pura vida down there, and it means just a simple life or just go with the flow. So I went with the flow. after that, I decided to go to Panama and see what all the hype was about. Now getting into like real estate, if you're probably wondering real estate prices. So Costa Rica's, over the last 2 or 3 years since COVID, Costa Rica's definitely gone up a lot more. The colones is their main currency versus the US dollar here. US dollar is pretty stable. The colones seems to be going up and down. Within the course of a year, I went back. Costa Rica I thought was relatively not too expensive. The next year, super expensive with the US dollar. So it is a lot more expensive, what I've noticed. And housing prices have gotten to be a lot more expensive, but they have some amazing homes built on the cliff, infinity pools, and, you know, beautiful homes out on the beaches. We do have them in Panama as well, but they're just a different build. They're built with wood, they're built with concrete, they're just built in the forest. They are beautiful. So I much prefer Costa Rican architecture for homes built on the beaches. Working in real estate, I do know that the price per square meter is a lot more in Costa Rica than it is in Panama. So the Panama beaches, I've spent a lot of time out there. You can get something for like $175,000 starting, totally reasonable. White sand beaches and everything else. I think maybe starting out in Guanacaste might be $250. Well, if you're on the beach, $300, $350, maybe even more starting, because you're basically just on the beach. They don't have a lot of beachfront titles, whereas Panama's kind of just getting into that. So there's a lot more opportunity if you want to live directly on the beach without breaking the bank. So I work with different agents in Costa Rica and in Panama, as well as in Colombia. So if you're interested in looking into more about real estate and going into a deeper dive about what I was talking about, yes, this is completely honest in my own personal opinion, then contact me or let me know if there's anything else you want to know about Costa Rica or about Panama in the comment section below. I'll try to respond to it as quickly as I can.